I know what you're here for. Let's get to that sports talk, baby. And we're going to start in Andy's room. Final score 7-23. Jaguars take this one. And honestly, I was watching a little bit of Andy's room. I didn't think it was that bad, but it was a little glitchy. You know what I'm saying? I liked it for the kids, and that's what it's for. It's for the kids, so I liked it. But as in the real game, Desmond Ridder throwing 2 turnovers. He really gave up the game before it was all said and done. One of the picks going to the crib. So Jaguars going to take this one. And Calvin really has been a great player for the Jaguars, and that's why that offense is moving the way it's moving. Trevor Lawrence can rely on a wide receiver, and dog of the day, we're going to give it to Desmond Ridder. So give your barks out for Desmond Ridder of being so bad for giving that game out. So give your bark. Big dog for Desmond Ridder. Big dog. Now we got our next game. We got the Steelers versus the Houston Texans. The Steelers is just a complete disaster. I don't know what is going on up in Pittsburgh. It's a disaster. The Houston Texans, they're not that bad of a team. They got a lot of ways to go. They just got a new coach in D'Amico Ryans. CJ Stroud is your future with Dameon Pierce. Nico Collins, a big dog today. We're going to give our barks off to Nico Collins. The guy is a dog. 168 yards, 2 TDs. The man took over today. And if you keep the core in that offense and Dalton Schultz, Devin Singletary didn't have a bad game. Keep Nico Collins, Dameon Pierce, CJ Stroud, and add some bigger pieces. That team is going to be really good. And for the Steelers, you got to ask yourself, is Kenny Pickett good enough? I don't think he's good enough. And since y'all had Big Ben, it's been terrible. Y'all need it's an open eyes for Mike Tomlin. It's an open eyes for that franchise. That's a big game you got to open your eyes to. And it's time to look and see in the future, what are y'all going to do about this team? Moving on, we got 49ers and the Cardinals. The 49ers came out and did what they were supposed to do, running over the Cardinals. The Cardinals, they was fighting a little bit, but they just didn't have enough. Josh Dobbs, you ain't got your guy, the starter quarterback in Kyler Murray. James Conner, good, decent player. Hollywood. If you actually watch football, the Cardinals are not that bad, but they just don't have enough. 49ers, you got CMC, who's arguably in the MVP race, in that MVP conversation, and Christian McCaffrey. Big dog of the day, CMC with 3 TDs, 102 yards. But for our boy CMC, he took over today. That's the dog of the game. Brock Purdy, 10-0. He's really under Kyle Shanahan, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And coming from Mr. Irrelevant, being the last pick in the draft, and to being one of the best QBs in the league. It's really a big story for Brock Purdy, so we're going to shout him out too. But big dog of today, CMC. And we moving on to even more disappointment.
This season, do you feel like you've had less time to get open and create space for yourself?
Nah, I'm open. I'm always excuse my profanity, I'm sorry.
The Cincinnati Bengals going up against the Titans. Final score 3-27. Only 3 points from the Bengals, and they were looking like the best teams these past 3 years. No mobility from Joe Burrow, no mobility at all. Same O-line, year in and year out. You can't protect Joe Burrow for your life. The patience is running out for Cincinnati fans. I know it. You might as well sit Joe Burrow out, get him fully healthy, and then come back for the season, because with him out there, y'all are doing nothing at all either way. For the Titans, they got the W, but it's the same Titans over and over again from old. If Derrick Henry's not getting going, then your team is not getting going. You lose. So when King Henry starts to do his King Henry type stuff, y'all get the dub, and that's what he did today. So we're going to give him dog of the game. Derrick Henry. Your boy for your boy. King Henry, 122 yards, a TD, even throwing the ball into the end zone. We know the classic jump pass from King Henry, throwing TDs. And if you play with him on Madden and him being QB on Madden, we all know how OP he is on Madden when he's at QB. Moving on, Bears and Broncos. This is an all over the place game. As we can see, it defines both teams. This game defines both teams. You got Justin Fields going up 28-7 after this franchise has started 0-3 and all these big expectations, and you go up 28-7, and then boom, just like that, the Broncos head back and they beat you 31-28. You can't allow that stuff to happen, and now you move on to 0-4, and you're on a short week, and you play on Thursday Night Football. Who knows what's going to happen in that game? As in the Broncos, it goes for them too. Being down 28-7 says a lot about your team, and what happened last week when the Dolphins put up 70 on your team and the Bears going up 28-7 says it all. You rallied back and got the dub, but as starting off the game, it looked like the same old Broncos that from the weeks prior. 0-3 team against an 0-3 team, somebody has to win, and that's what it came down to. Somebody has to win. Big dog of the day, Justin Fields, 4 TDs, almost 400 yards, big baller game. Russell Wilson, I'm going to give him his credit, but I'm going to give my big dog to Justin Fields. Give it up for Justin Fields. Big dog for Justin Fields. Player of the game, dog of the game. Let's give it to him. Moving on. I've been avoiding this game all day. I've been wanting to save it, but I'm going to have to talk about it. That's just what it is. Eagles versus Commanders. Heartbreaking game. Sam Howell, he came back from last week and him throwing 4 turnovers. Coming back this week. Balling out this week. Eagles, Commanders. It was just a division game. It was a back and forth war. Winning the OT. Jake Elliott, they got one of the best kickers in the league. He finishes off the game with a field goal. A battle between the offenses. Both defenses, we expect better from both defenses on the Washington side and the Eagles side. Final score 34-31. Big dog of the day, he gave us serious problems. 175 yards for A.J. Brown. So I shout out to A.J. Brown. Shout out to the Eagles. They got that W, but heartbreaking loss for the Washington Commanders. Taking it to heart right now. Short week, we versus the Bears. We got to win that game. Next game, we got the Dallas Cowboys. We all know what's going on with the Dallas Cowboys. It's an up and down roller coaster. They lose last week to the Cardinals, but they come back this week, and people start to look at them like the Super Bowl caliber team, beating the Bill Belichick and the Patriots 3-28. Bill Belichick, you're on the hot seat, my guy. The best game. Big dog of the day, I'm going to have to give it to Mac Jones, just like I gave it to Desmond Ridder. If it wasn't for Mac Jones throwing this game away, and I seen him go crossbody in one play, but then he does it again, and he took it to the house for a pick 6. Big dog of the day for Mac Jones, big dog of the game. Mac Jones, 2 picks. Not really much to say about this next game, but Raiders Chargers. The Chargers were supposed to do what they were supposed to do, going against a backup quarterback and Jimmy Garoppolo, not surprisingly injured since back in his days with the 49ers. The guy's been injured almost every season. That's why they had to pick up Trey Lance, and they had to get Brock Purdy, and they had to get rid of Jimmy G because he cannot stay on the field for this team. And you can't afford a season without your starter quarterback. It just devastates the whole organization. Look at the Jets without Aaron Rodgers, and we're gonna get to the Jets in just a little bit. Jimmy G out. Chargers did what they supposed to do, but this guy Khalil Mack is a big dog of the game. 6 sacks. You gotta understand how difficult that is. 6 sacks on the day, and after the first 3 games he had no sacks. Looking like Chicago Khalil Mack. We gonna give it to him. Big game for Khalil Mack. Moving on. Next game, we got the Rams versus the Colts. Similar game to the Broncos and the Bears in a comeback situation. The difference is the team that came back did not win. Anthony Richardson is coming off an injury. Think he had a concussion or whatnot. Don't know if that had anything to do with it, but it got so bad it was 23-0, and he came back. This game went into OT, but the big dog of the game came out. Big dog, Puka Nacua, did his thing. 163 yards with 9 receptions and a walk-off TD for this guy. Cooper Kupp, slow down. You don't got to come back so soon. Make sure you resting on the sideline because Puka Nacua has came to the NFL and he is taking over. In every single game, Matthew Stafford, he gonna give it to the guy that's balling, and Puka Nacua is balling. Bark for your boy Puka Nacua. Next game, we got Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we got the New Orleans Saints. And New Orleans Saints, they've been so rocky. They've been back and forth for a little bit. Starting off the season 2-0. Now they get to 2-2. Derek Carr not looking like himself. He has up and down games. It's a roller coaster for Derek Carr in his career and his quarterbacking, and that's why he's with the Saints now. And the Raiders got rid of him. He went to the Saints. Not saying he's doing too bad, but Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara coming back. They still got to get that stuff combined. It still takes time for everybody to get on the right page. And this is the new team for the New Orleans Saints. And as this team starts to go forward in the season, we might can see more things. But the big team of the day, the Buccaneers beating them 26-9. Baker Mayfield is baking out there. He's balling, and he's the big dog of the day. We gonna salute to him, and we gonna bark for Baker Mayfield. Never thought I was gonna do that for Baker Mayfield, but he was balling in the day. Maybe he just needs to get away from the Browns and different organizations with the Panthers. We know how bad that organization has been, and now he has his feet in Tampa Bay, and he's ready to take this team forward. Record 3-1 right now. Can't hate on him. If you balling, you can't hate on him. Now we got our next game. Our next game, a balling game that was supposed to be a back and forth offensive battle, but it wasn't. We got the Dolphins and the Bills. Final score 48-20 after they put up 70 against the Broncos, which we knew they wasn't going to do again against this team. The Bills make over 300 yards passing. Big dog of the day. Big dog of the game. Howl for him. Bark for him. Stefon Diggs. Gotta give it to the dog. Big dog of the game. All over the place. 3 TDs. When you know you got 3 TDs, you know you had a good game. As in the other side, Tua Tagovailoa. You did your thing. Interception, but 280-something yards. Tyreek Hill couldn't get more involved. We know games from Tyreek Hill, and this won't no game from Tyreek Hill and this offense with Jalen Waddle. They just could not get it going with McDaniels. You can't win every game. 3-1 for the Dolphins, 3-1 for the Bills. The Bills are making a statement and saying, yo, this year is our year, and hopefully they can finish it off. And we got some Sunday night football, baby. We got the Chiefs versus the Jets, baby. Zach Wilson, Patrick Mahomes going back and forth. This is my first game in saying this, and Zach Wilson being as good as we've seen so far. The guy was balling a little bit. End of the day, the reason why they lost this game is because of him. Muffled snap, Patrick Mahomes, he had a muffled snap. But the difference is, Patrick Mahomes jumped on his football, and he still kept the offense going for his team. Zach Wilson, when he muffed his snap, turnover on downs, Chiefs gets the ball. Patrick Mahomes ultimately ends the game, getting that first down by the goal line and kneeing it out for the win. But the biggest dog of the day, a TD. Him and Patrick Mahomes was going back and forth. If he wasn't making the play, Patrick Mahomes with his legs, Isaiah Pacheco was making the play with his legs. Big dog. Get your barks off for Isaiah Pacheco. The man was the dog of the game. We're going to give it to him. In the end of week 4, we got some Monday night football, baby. And we seen it. 11 sacks from the Seahawks defense. They came to play, but the Giants offense is just complete horrifying. Offensive line is terrible like it's been for the last years, going back years upon years. It's crazy how both New York teams are playing terrible. Both New York teams are playing terrible. We looking at Zach Wilson, but we really need to have our eyes on the New York Giants because it's looking like a disaster. And with the Dolphins and the Bills coming up next, you could be 1-5 in a heartbeat. We got to see some serious change out this team because as I'm looking at you right now, you look horrible. And last year, you just would win in the playoffs and you just beat the Vikings, who had a good year last year, and you beat them in the playoffs. To paying your quarterback $160 million, a fake $160 million at that. I should have known, everybody in the world known not to pay Daniel Jones. The man was pathetic up until that year when Saquon came back and he put his team on his back. When Saquon is out of the game and when Saquon Barkley is out of the lineup, things like this happen. In the score, 24-3. You got to give it to the Seahawks. They came to play. Giants are awful. I think the season is done for y'all. And in the division you're in, and with the Eagles being 4-0 now, and them going up against the Cardinals, or is it the Rams? They go up against the Rams this week. They could be 5-0. Who knows what the Cowboys will do against the 49ers. And we sitting right there, and who knows how it's going to be. But the division is starting to pull away from you, and you got the Dolphins and the Bills up next. I feel like that disqualifies you from the race into the playoffs, and I think it's over for them. We loving this Monday night, Thursday night football, all this football. We loving it this season. Stay tuned in for the latest sports hype on Lace 'em Up Sports Talk Show. If you watched the end of this video, I thank you. Hit that subscribe button. You like family if you hit that button. I thank y'all. God bless. Thank you for watching today.